This viewer requested build is called the Fresh Recruit. A standard Liberator, machine gun, orbital precision, and optimism is all you need to solo Helldive. We're tasked to destroy an automaton airbase control tower, and failure is not an option. My name is Fassel. Let's jump in the deep end, shall we? Shout out and thank you to Super Brand Flakes and Madman Thermostat for this build request. Looked like a hilarious idea when I read it, since I'm anything but a DACA fan, but I do love getting out of my comfort zone, so here we are. The rules, or rule rather, was simple. Do a solo Helldive in the same gear you start the game in, showing fresh recruits what's possible with willpower and determination. So they definitely got me with this request. I'm a sucker for inspiring stories. So although I'm pretty sure I don't count as a fresh recruit anymore, theoretically speaking, this is possible. So if you pull a run like this off on your first day, can you please contact us, because you, my friend, are very special. I only brought the mines because it won't let me load into the mission without 4 stratagems, by the way, since that's kinda suicidal. So I guess you can interpret only having 2 stratagems at the beginning of the game as your rite of passage to life, I guess. For the route, we're gonna go clockwise around the map. I decided to start southeast though, because it's a bit far from extraction. If there's gunships for a bunch of heavies, then I'm gonna get forced to do a second lap most likely. So I definitely need to keep the pace high. Planet Vandalon 4 is just like Marfark, by the way. It's littered with hell bombs, so use to your advantage as best you can. Tip number 1. A repeat. Hell bomb explosions are shaped like an upside down cone. Placing one at the base of this detector tower will destroy it for that reason. And as a correction to a tip in a previous video, Hellbomb consoles appear facing you now. So throwing a Hellbomb north makes the console appear on the south side. Adding to that is tip number 2. Defend your Hellbomb for 5 to 10 seconds after arming it. After punching in the arrow code to arm it, it takes 5 seconds to start counting down. The countdown itself is 10 seconds, so it takes 15 seconds after armed to explode. By defending it for 5 to 10 seconds, you all but guarantee its detonation. Alright, clockwise around the map we go. That's a Gunship Fabricator. Luckily it's just one. They can actually spawn as a double Fabricator. This is bad, but we'll see how far we get. So tip number 3. Gunships require specific weapons to bring down. Weapons which you don't have when you just start the game. That doesn't mean the mission is over though. It means you have to get comfortable dodging them. As you gain power though, be sure to bring the correct weaponry for the mission at hand, because your family on Super Earth would like to see you again. I mentioned being a sucker for inspiring stories. What I mean by that is that I'm confident one of you is capable of doing this run on your first day. Assuming the game would let you into a level 9 mission at the start, of course. If you don't think so, remember, there's 6-year-olds capable of playing Mozart, or 10-year-olds graduating from college. Don't underestimate what you're capable of when you set your mind to it. Believing is the hard part, funny enough. Tip number 4. These ice plants are stationary stun grenades. Using your environment will give you a massive advantage. That does require getting to know your environment, of course. So pay attention to the things around you, and figure out ways to use them to your benefit. Tip number 5. Use the muscle enhancement booster for ice planets. I don't have a booster active right now because you don't have one when you start the game. But as you unlock them, remember that snow on ice planets slow you down immensely, so be sure to boost those muscles. Dodging gunships is not as hard as you may think. I linked a short video in the top right explaining it if you're interested. Of course the snow makes it harder, but clearly it's doable. Taking out Fabricators requires you throwing a grenade into the vents, mentioning that in case you didn't know. Which leads me to fun fact number 1. Obvious to you does not equal obvious for everyone. Be sure to explain things that are obvious to you. Innately, most of us don't want to be mean or rude to others, so explaining things that are obvious to us can feel extremely demeaning. Unfortunately though, something being obvious to you doesn't mean it's obvious to everyone. So by explaining it, you bridge the gap between your knowledge and ours. Best case scenario, you give someone a chance to grow and learn from your knowledge and experience. Worst case scenario, it is demeaning, and you can simply apologize and explain that your intention was to make sure you were on the same page. If that's not good enough for them, remember, you can't fix everything, so move on. If you're new to the channel, by the way, I'm an intensive care unit nurse who enjoys sharing life experience, on top of being a hardcore gamer, of course. So if you enjoy the variation of in-game tips, mixed with some IRL intel, be sure to sub and stick around. Thank you and welcome to the group. Link to the Discord channel is in the description. I tried to stick that resupply to that Fabricator. Was a very hopeful throw, but Steph Curry does it too, so why not, am I right? Destroying this Fabricator right away was a mistake. I need this resupply. So by destroying this Fabricator I took away my only cover. Watch what happens when you fight automatons without cover. So yeah, cover. I land on the tower cannon here so the gunship rockets can take it out. Normally I'm not too worried about tower cannons, but with the snow slowing me down, they're basically extremely accurate snipers. This is probably a good time for tip number 6. Hide to get rid of gunships. This tip is even better if you've already taken out the gunship Fabricator. Hiding will make it so they go away and eventually even despawn. So you don't actually have to kill them, you just have to get them off your tail. I could have sworn that Hellbomb was gonna get at least one gunship. Probably grazed it. Running to the next objective with my gunship friends. That's all I'm doing here. Alright, so important intel is that gunships are probably the best Hellbomb destroyers in the game. So it's key you do your best to keep them away from them, or they probably won't get a chance to detonate. So the idea here is planting the Hellbomb on the opposite side of where the gunships are. After which I have to run back to the gunships to keep them there. Or they'll just flank it, of course. All the while doing my best to keep ground forces neutralized. This gunship didn't take the bait, unfortunately. I arm the Hellbomb hoping for that slim chance the gunship ignores it, and goes for me instead. Like I said, best Hellbomb hunters ever. Luckily, the orbital precision strike is one of the best stratagems in the game, and you get it straight from the start, so plenty of time to practice with it. I don't have a way to take out the other dropship without a Hellbomb, so I decide it's time to fall back, or fall forward, I guess, to the next objective. I assumed I'd have to do more than one lap around this map, simply due to the little tools I have to work with. The Liberator seems to be doing its job though, so that's kinda nice. I'll be honest and say that I think, funny enough, the standard Liberator is probably the best one I've used, at least against bots. I think the amount of damage it does and the size of the magazine are just right. It feels a lot more natural than other assault rifles do, which either do slightly too little damage or run out of bullets slightly too fast. But again though, not an assault rifle fanatic, so what do I know? I've decided to try getting rid of the gunships by hiding, so enjoy rare footage of Fassel accepting he has the stealth. Oh yeah, don't forget to turn off your flashlight. Absolutely useless tool. Oh, come on. Fine. Guess we're not losing our gunship friends just yet. Tip number 7. Glide down cliffs. Don't run straight off a cliff. Instead, try to hit a couple pebbles on the way down. This prevents fall damage, but more importantly, it prevents you getting stunned and standing still for a couple seconds. That stun will often get you killed in higher difficulties. So go down cliffs and ledges like this. This was a hard call to make. I wanted to go for the Gunship Fabricator, but this patrol here had me worried. So instead I decided to fall back to where I knew there was cover. The reason the run is possible is good decision making. So not engaging in combat unless I have to, retreating in time, and being decisive in my actions. Probably a good time to just quote Sun Tzu and say, every battle is won before it is fought. So the next time you're ragdolling, remember that you probably lost this fight before it even started. So make sure you plan ahead. I hoped I could run around this cliff, but it's too big, so I'd become a traitor for staying outside the map too long if I tried. I'm all out of options, so I guess I'm fighting this patrol. I managed to get through to a rocky area, hopefully giving me the ability to stealth and ditch the gunships. I feel like they've chased me long enough. You'd think they'd run out of ammo at some point too, right? Let me circle back again to why the fresh recruit idea sparked my interest so much. There's a fantastic perspective I once heard about you. Fun fact number 2. You are unique. As much as that's a hippie quote, from a purely biological standpoint, it's absolutely accurate. Your DNA has never existed in the past, nor will it ever exist in the future. So you don't ever have to wonder whether you are unique. You simply are. You could argue the journey of life is finding what makes you, you. And if you manage to nurture that enough, the world will quite literally never see one like you again. Find your spark, my friend. It's not absent, just buried. This is a perfect example of why the precision strike is so good. It has the destructive power of a 500 kilogram eagle. It kills anything it hits, and it has a very short cooldown, which makes it so you can use it liberally. Because if you miss, who cares? It'll be back before you know it anyway. Fast forwarding, because I spent a minute stealthing to ditch the gunship. If you believe knowledge is power, like me, probably pay close attention here. This is the best angle to start attacking this heavy outpost from. There's usually only one guard, so that's a free fabricator. Also, the tower cannon is always facing away from you from this angle, assuming it hasn't already spotted you, of course. After you grenade that first fabricator, go counterclockwise. If you get lucky, you can get this next fabricator before you get overwhelmed, which wasn't the case for me here. If you can take it out, that's 2 out of 4 fabricators done. U-turn and go clockwise around the outpost now. Although this looks really scary, the good news is that it's very hard for them to get to you, because they have to walk all the way around, which is why this strategy works so well. This is a neat trick if you've never seen it. If you have a stratagem that can destroy fabricators, like the precision strike for example, bounce it off this mark right here at a 20 to 30 degree angle. It'll land dead on top of a fabricator. The last fabricator, or second to last in my case, is around the corner here. This is always a dangerous moment though. There's usually a Hulk guarding it, and the giant swarm is starting to close in on me, so you have to be swift. I decide to abandon this outpost for later, choosing to live and fight another day. My orbital is on cooldown, and I only have 2 grenades and 2 stims. Odds are stacked against me basically. Luckily, there's a side objective I can do here while I resupply, and my orbital comes back up of course. This is a 𝐂𝐃𝐃 anti-air, which is absolutely amazing. It takes out dropship cargoes and gunships as well. It has a pretty large range. That means this side of the map just got a lot safer for me. I did the 𝐂𝐃 and I moved back to the heavy outpost in a blizzard. Killed 1 bot in the process. Tip number 8. Listen for the thump. When you successfully land a nade inside a fabricator vent, you hear a clear thump. So if you're curious whether you got it, no thump, no good. If you feel this run is kind of silly, you should definitely watch my last video. I'd argue this is easier than using only mind stratagems and firing no bullets. You decide though.
Orbital strike incoming. 20 minutes remaining.
I'm in quite a pickle here. I have no cover, so I decide to stealth until the big boy walks past me. But then of course, he decides he smells me with his non-existent nose. So here we are. From my understanding, What's happening is that this Hulk was actually part of a different patrol. He got stuck on a rock or something though, so now he's just standing there. What I don't understand is that he seems to have some sort of heightened sense. All these other bots just walk past me as I'm prone. But this guy seems to sense me. Do you know the exact mechanic here? It still confuses me quite a bit. Let me know in the comments. Reminds me of a game I used to play with my cousins. One of us would get a blanket over our heads, and they'd have to try and find the others by sound. Couldn't see crap though, so not as easy as it sounds. I guess this Hulk has a blanket over his head or something. I don't know. Ran to the next objective here. I used a precision strike on a small outpost on the way. Efficiency at its best, really. Tip number 9. Lure static defenses out of their bases. By tapping the strider here and then running away, it gives me a way in. Assuming I survive the onslaught to follow, of course. But that onslaught is still better than trying to fight it in there. Be sure to count this strategy as an option. Especially when you're lacking in firepower, like I am here. I completely forgot to mention this, but the recoil on the Liberator is actually very acceptable. It gives off 𝐂𝐃𝐃𝐄𝐓 vibes to me. I can't hold down the trigger button, but to be fair, that's not really my style anyway. I dare not say it, but this beginner assault rifle is probably better than most other ones. Because I triggered the factory strider, I simply need to run away now. If I get lucky, it'll follow me all the way to this outpost. But I'll be done with the outpost before it gets to me. Then I can hopefully ditch it at the outpost, and then go for the objective it was defending. Basically playing a giant game of cat and mouse with it. Here's a fun quiz question for you. You only have one stratagem to take out Fabricators with. Which one do you nuke from here? I'll give you a couple seconds. The correct answer was A. The reason why is because the entire outpost's defense is being lured to the side of the A Fabricators, leaving the B Fabricator wide open. Had I nuked the B Fabricator, I'd have had to fight a giant amount of enemies to get to the A Fabricators. I hope that was insightful, and fun of course. Here you see how undefended the B Fabricator really is. I did need my resupply to destroy it though, but my stratagem Faso bounced. So, I guess we're gonna have to try and sneak a grenade into it. I could theoretically retreat again, but I'm starting to get worried about the mission timer. Also, I have 3 reinforces, so if I die I can always land on the Fabricator. Probably good if I mention that this side always has at least one Hulk guarding it. You get used to them, I promise.
I'm bleeding out! Not today!
See, all according to plan so far. No worries. Tip number 10. Land on the edge of a Fabricator when reinforcing. So not dead center. If you land dead center, then you're probably just dead again. By landing on the edge, you make your getaway a lot easier. Had I landed dead center here, I probably would have gotten ragdolled into the middle of that outpost again, and then decimated again. Instead, the rockets actually pushed me out. To safety even. Ran to the next outpost here, and I grabbed the super samples. I was going to precision strike, but the minimap gave away that there was barely any enemies here. Remember to consult your minimap often. I probably could have saved my precision strike here as well, but I decided to give it up for a couple of seconds saved. Really starting to worry about time basically. Running back to the main objective here, where there should be a lot less static defense waiting for me. Tip number 11. Move into the airbase control tower like this. It's the cleanest and most direct route in, without a jetpack anyway. You can usually sneak past all their defenses, and if you have to fight them up there, that's actually fine, because the ramp is a giant bottleneck. This ramp in front of me is literally the only way they can get up here, so be sure to abuse this position against them whenever you need to. Hardcore fast forward here. I ran all the way south for the objectives I missed. I used the blizzard to stealth my way there. Tip number 12. Gunship fabricators make noise when producing a gunship, and they work really slow. It takes them about a minute to crank out a gunship. So you can definitely hellbomb the Fabricator before it spawns one. Assuming you were nearby when the alarm started.
You are in range of enemy artillery.
Fun fact number 3, by the way. FOMO is ridiculous. The feeling that you're missing out on something can only be present in your head. No matter what it is you feel you've missed, there will always be more to have. So if you missed the ride today, stop pulling your damn hair out and simply catch the ride tomorrow. Yeah, but I really wanted to get on this ride specifically, man. But you didn't. If you move on, you can get on the next one. If you don't move on though, you're gonna miss the next one as well. This idea that there's a finite amount of opportunity is easily the fastest way to misery. I believe FOMO is the root of most resentment. If someone gets what you wanted, then FOMO will make you believe they have something you'll never get. That makes it really hard to be happy for them. I suppose FOMO is the act of believing you're always too late for the show. I'd argue the answer to FOMO is optimism, the act of believing there will always be an encore. Please do your best to enjoy the present, for a better future. Since there's not shit either of us can do about the past, there's not a doubt in my mind that you can do this. Start today, team. This had to be the most well-hidden mine in the game, by the way. Look at this. Medium armor for the win. Casual tanks strolling by. See? Level 9s aren't that bad. Who's with me? Full fresh recruit run? No stealth? Huh? Okay, last tip. Number 13. Cook your grenades by holding the grenade throw button. I basically never do this, but if you get good at it, you can make every grenade an impact grenade. Watch me struggle for a bit here and then give up and do the console. But it's definitely worth practicing. For example, I'm a big stun grenade fan, but I rarely use them optimally. For optimal use, it would have to explode midair, which means I'd have to cook it. It would simply stun a lot more targets, and be even more powerful that way. So definitely a skill I'm going to practice in time. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Let me know if you're a master nade cooker in the comments, I'd say. Alright, I got everything. Time to extract. I'll let you enjoy this last action scene, before I hit you with some last bit of philosophy.
Extraction shuttle inbound. ETA T-minus 2 minutes 30 seconds.
Get up! Feels good.
ETA T-minus 2 minutes.
Have a taste of democracy! Helldivers never die!
ETA T-minus 1 minute 30 seconds. ETA T-minus 1 minute. Sending down support weapon.
Throwing grenade!
Since we're approaching the end here, it's probably good to mention I rarely used my machine gun. That's simply because I'm not any good with it, because I don't like it. But to all you Daka fans out there, this could have been a lot easier had I had some machine gun skills. I hope this run proves that with very little, you can achieve quite a lot. The tools you have in life will augment you, not the other way around. So before complaining about what you're missing, look back and work on what you have. You'll find more often than not, you've always had everything you needed. Our brain just has an annoying tendency to ignore what we're used to having. Taking the time to consciously be happy with what you have is called gratitude, of course. A term almost everyone's heard of, but very few practice. It's an act, not a personality trait. When you catch yourself whining, remind yourself to find something in your life you're happy about. When you catch yourself sad, find something in your life that makes you smile. Master this skill, and the world changes today. In the end, what do you have to lose? My name is Faisal. Be well, and take care.